I'm not liking my hair today, but we're just gonna go with it.
I feel like I'm like looking rough.
Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Love with Sav and I. This is our special little pre-Valentine's Day series. So if you didn't check out the last video, it's all about crushes and attraction. Life's going good and then all of a sudden you get a crush. Your ego goes on the loose. Oh my God, I love him. You'll probably want to check that one out first. Today we're talking all about dating, dates, dating experiences. So let's get started. Alright guys, so thank you so much for your wonderful questions on the topic of dating. We've got a lot to chat about today. Right off the bat, we're going to start off with how old were you, Sav, when you had your first boyfriend?
Oh, pretty old. Zoey was young.
Yeah, so, well, okay, so this is what I should say. I think I had my first boyfriend when I was in grade 5 or 6, but it was literally just this boy that we had crushes on each other and we would call each other boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And put his name in my MSN name with a heart. And that was the extent of our like grade 6 relationship. There was no...
I mean, that's better than me. I didn't even talk to a guy till like grade 10.
My first relationship started in grade 10.
Yeah. I think mine was grade 9. We dated for like 2 weeks and then I didn't want to date anymore. So I texted him and said, can you meet me in the halls? And I was like...
That's how it was, hey?
I just am not ready for a boyfriend yet. And we broke up after like maybe 2 months actually. He did get me a Christmas present and stuff, so that was good. Mm-hmm.
He seems like a gentleman.
Yeah, he was really cute and he was older, so it was like...
Ooh. Hara had asked, how old do you think people should be when they start dating? This is a hard question. I mean, obviously not grade 6, but like I wouldn't really consider that dating. You're just my first boyfriend. But I think high school, it's like a fun experience.
Grade 8.
Grade 8, yeah, grade 9. And I think it's a good way to start to begin to talk about your feelings because you're expressing to someone that you like them and you're exercising vulnerability. So I think it's okay to date in high school.
I think it's good for you.
Not too serious.
Not too serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's only high school. That's the thing too, is I think when you're in high school, that's your whole world because that's all you know.
I thought I was gonna marry my high school.
Oh, I thought I was gonna...
Yeah, we both stuck that out for a long time. We're like looking at houses. I'm like, this is my future.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, so after a date, like let's say this is a first date, who should text first, the guy or the girl?
Different situations mean different things. Always the guy, in my opinion.
Okay, so I think if you are interested in someone, it's okay to reach out and message them.
Yeah, if they don't like fully know that you're into them.
Yes, because then you can test the waters. Are they reciprocating? If I'm gonna be slightly flirty. The whole other topic on its own is flirting. But
we're not good at that. And I like won't touch them.
Yeah, like when we have crushes, we are difficult. They don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they know, I don't know. But anyways, moving on. I think if a guy takes you out on a date, he should follow up the next day. So I said if you have a crush, it's okay for the girl to reach out and to like make conversation. But if you go on a date with someone, they need to message you the next day.
Or yeah, like a day or two. Well,
I would prefer a day. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I went on a really fun date. I was feeling so good about it. I know that he had a really good time too. And the next day, I assumed, this is where I'm setting myself up for a disappointment, but I assumed he would message me the next day. He didn't message me for like 3 or 4 days. So this was a setup date. So my friend's boyfriend's best friend, and he had already gone back to his best friend and recapped the date and said he had such a great time with me and all this. I heard it through my friend, but I didn't hear it from him. Yeah. And he waited like 3 days to message me back. I'm telling you, I went from like in love with this guy to like not a chance in hell in 3 days because he didn't message me. When he messaged me, he was like, hey Zoe, how's your day going so far? It was like in Italian. And I was like, my week was great. Thanks for the date. I hope you have a great rest of your week or something.
Oh, cold.
Like I just shut it down right there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cold.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He should have followed up. He had the spark and boom, like fizzled right out.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had that. I think it would be, you just be like, no, I'm done.
Now we have the question of what is a worst or like a weird date that you've had. I went on one date and we're walking down the street and someone recognized me. Prior to this, like I met him on an app.
It's all the
It was an app that Anastasia was managing for me.
Yeah.
She was helping a girl out, okay? So she sets me up on this date through this app and I go out on a date with him, and he didn't really know what I did. I said I was in marketing, but not YouTube, because it's something that's a little bit, if he wanted to, he could have just creeped everything. And I just don't know how I feel about that. After I took a photo with this girl, and he's like, who are you? And I'm like, I do some things online like YouTube, self-improvement videos and stuff. Wait, what? Pulls out his phone, like subscribes to the channel. Who knows if he's watching this? Probably not now. But then
I hope he watches this.
I started to explain, I'm like, listen, I'd really appreciate it if you give me the chance to get to know me rather than binge watching all my videos. Like, I just explained, I'm like, that's why I haven't been on this app until this time, because I don't want people to creep me. And which I know is so, I know you guys are thinking, you're like, well, then why'd you make all these videos? Anyway, so I go on a second date with him, because the first date was pretty decent. We had some good conversation, and he's like, so I'm not gonna lie, I watched like a bunch of your videos. And I'm like, we will be having one drink tonight and I'm leaving.
Okay, but I said to Zoey, I would have done the same thing. Of course, you're gonna watch the videos, like you're gonna be a creep, but
don't say
lie! You lie! Do not tell her, and then use that to like, be like, oh, I'm into this, and I'm into that. Like, she just gave you an insight into her life.
It just was a really big turn off, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are gonna creep, but don't straight off the bat tell me that you did after I asked you not to.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, honesty is the best
Honesty
policy.
is the quality.
Yeah.
I don't think I like I haven't been on that many like random dates. I've always
Yeah.
been like kind of knowing what I was getting myself into. So
There can be some awkward pauses and silences
or
sometimes.
yeah, if you're just not into somebody, just the whole thing is horrible. I'll do this thing where if I'm not into it, I'll just stop talking. Like, I just give zero.
I do that too.
shits.
I just shut down.
And I'll just look, like, I'll just be like I'll start falling asleep, actually. Can they eat faster so I can go home? I remember, like, being in the car with this guy recently and just being like, these stoplights are taking forever, because he was driving me back after lunch, and I was, like, already falling asleep at lunchtime. I swear he's driving purposefully slow for us to keep talking in the car, and I'd be like, just the next right here, like, just get me home.
There will never be another date if you're already like wishing the date to be over.
Yeah.
So what's the best date you've ever been on?
Oh,
She's got some good ones.
that's some real good ones. I would say, who was it? My last boyfriend and I met in South Africa. Date 1 or date 2 maybe, but like we just met. And he was like, let's go. I've never been to the tip of Africa. Let's go together, that'd be fun. And I was kind of like, okay. There's this beach that you have to walk down like 1,000,000 steps, and we just went at a good time, and it was a super nice day, and we drove out there, and it was like an hour drive, and we just like listened to good music, and we had basically the beach to ourselves. And I remember like making out on the beach, being like, this is so hot and so cool, and nobody else was there, and we were like on the tip of Africa.
So
and then
cool.
like went back, got food, went for drinks. It was just like a full day thing. You?
Yeah, I had a really good date once with this guy. This was like a first date, I suppose, even. I'm not gonna go into too many details because I feel like it's like,
Oh, I know this one.
yeah, personal. But what was so memorable to me that made it like so special was he played the piano and the guitar, and he played both of them for me. We had a really long date. We had lots of really great conversation, a really good meal together, and he played the piano for me, and it was so beautiful. Like, I literally remember almost crying because it was so special. Like, we just had such a connection, and just for him to be vulnerable like that. When guys play music,
It's so hot.
it's so hot. Like, it's
hot.
I can't. Like I said, I almost cried. Creativity is so vulnerable, and like I'm attracted to that for sure in all ways. And it was beautiful. He was like so talented, and he just was willing to show me that side of him on like our first date. So yeah,
That's a good one.
okay, so next is a dream date.
Oh.
I mean, it sounds like yours is pretty dreamy.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe same thing, like a day type of thing. I like doing activities.
Yes, activities are the best. I love those summer days that you just like wish never would end.
Yeah.
Whether that feeling's like when you're with friends or you're just having a really good time, like if you can have that feeling in a date, like you're like, I don't want this to end. Like you're doing an activity, like let's say you're going ice skating, then you're doing dinner, then you might go for a drink.
Yeah.
If you can keep the date going to different places, then you're building memories together.
I want it to be like a one-on-one date in The Bachelor. You know how it's like a day thing and then it's a night thing, and it's just the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to end, and you feel like you had like so much time just to like see if you can just like be around that person, because I get bored of people like so fast. You can like spend the day with somebody, then like you're good to go.
It is that building memories and like setting different locations, because in your mind you're seeing like, I can picture us doing things like this, I can picture us doing things like that, and you're building the bond.
Yeah. I went on like a bike tour, and we had margaritas at each place, and I remember thinking like, this was a great idea, because it's really fun and you're like constantly on the move.
That's really, that sounds really fun. A dream date, of course it has to have this really good conversation. That's what keeps us awake.
Not like, I love silence. I love sitting in silence, or like people that you can, but on a first date, if you're sitting in silence, bad news. You've got a whole life to learn about. But not too deep. Like first date, don't go too deep.
I have a problem where I have a spark with someone, I talk about everything.
Blur about your whole life story.
Like I think that's I don't know. I can't help it. But if there's somebody who is intriguing me and asking me questions, I will keep going. And
that's good though. I think that's good.
It's fine. Good. I remember the last time that this happened to me, I like woke up the next day and I'm like, did I say too much?
I like to chat.
I don't know, if a guy is like interested in me enough that he's like willing to keep the conversation going, and if I can talk to a guy about like the universe, space, like all these things that I'd love to. That is good. A spark for me. It's a spark, because I see like, this person can keep me interested and entertained, and you know, there's challenging conversation in a really good way. Lastly, we're gonna talk about star signs when it comes to dating. How much does it mean to you?
Recently, a lot. Me and you have talked about this. I've continually dated the same star sign. My best friend's that star sign, but they're not supposed to be good for me. So either I have the wrong best friend, and I obviously date the wrong people, but I would say all of my ex-boyfriends are like wonderful, and our problems were not our compatibility. That was like, we were so compatible. So maybe, I don't know. Like, what do you think? You're more the star sign guru.
So I am a Sagittarius. And I definitely...
my perfect sign.
So that's the thing is, so Sav's a Gemini and I'm a Sag. And Sag and Gemini are supposed to be the partnership match. Sav is one of the only Geminis I know. My little brother's a Gemini, but I've never dated a Gemini, or I've never been drawn to a Gemini. In the past, I know that I've been drawn to fire signs. So not other Sagittarius, but Aries and Leo. My longest relationship was with a Leo. After experiencing fire signs, I now know that I do not want one. I want the opposite of me, like a grounding earth sign. But I know myself enough to recognize that now. But in the past, it would be something that I would like make sure to ask this person or find out what they were and all that. I don't really know so much if it matters to me anymore. I know what I'm looking for so much that I don't really care what their sign is. But if you're thinking about signs and their main traits is I'm looking for someone with grounded stability, and that's an earth sign. It's just like
good to know, because then you can like be like prepared, like if you talk to someone, or it gives you an insight into like who that person, like what your dating life's gonna be like.
But also I'd say like I don't like the sign Cancer. And if anyone was if you're a Cancer, no, like definitely I would say actually that's when it comes into play.
I feel like it would suck to be a Cancer. Like, first of all, you're called Cancer. Do we know any Cancers? My mom.
Well, Sophie's a Cancer. Our friends are Cancers, fine. Guys, no way in hell I would never date a Cancer again. I just wouldn't, no.
I don't even know what
that would be. That's the one exception that I'm like, if a Cancer crossed my path, no.
I think that
in the dating world,
I might not date a Gemini. Or I shouldn't date a Gemini.
Aren't you?
I'm dating a Gemini.
You're good. You're cool.
I like it too.
All right, guys, so that brings us to the end of this episode. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow we're talking all about, what do we got here? Relationships, dating someone from a different country, commitment, fun relationships on mutual terms. Yeah, we got some good stuff. So be sure to tune in tomorrow.